Non-government partners discuss GBV assistance. New homes for retired PNGDF servicemen. And Legends Christmas clash set for festive season.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Friday's news. A civil society forum on gender equality and human rights was held today at Epic House in Port Moresby. The forum had discussions on how best non-government partners can help address the challenges faced by ordinary citizens. The meeting was an initiative of the Spotlight Initiative program, supported by Consultative Implementation and Monitoring Council and UN Women.
With the theme Rights at the Beginning of Gender Equality and Peace Within Society, civil society organizations hosted a forum today to discuss ideas on how to implement programs and plans in line with human rights.
The recent voluntary National Review 2020 explicitly states that in accelerating the 2030 Development Agenda and the SDGs, which includes human rights and gender equality, there is need to mobilize and harness the expertise and capacity of development partners, both locally and internationally, CSOs included.
The event coincided with the International UN Calendar for Universal Human Rights Day. The forum was focused at advancing gender equality and human rights in Papua New Guinea.
From these events, I call on a renewal of action towards eradicating the long-existing inequalities in terms of achieving the government's Vision 2050 and overarching plans. Let's invest in the civic space and have true and meaningful engagement and participation with our civil society organizations.
UN Women Country Representative Temba Kalua says such forums must continue to carry out the plans in advancing gender equality and human rights in the country.
We need to ensure that these efforts are not just for this year in 2021, or are not just for this period when we are celebrating and commemorating 20 days of human rights activism, but for every day of the year going forward, until women and children of Papua New Guinea can live a life free from violence.
Panelist Anna Mokono also shared similar sentiments, saying an integrated approach must be taken.
There still needs to be a partnership, strengthening of partnership between the state and the civil society, and creating networks and strengthening those networks and partnerships also in terms of understanding the respective issues that are highlighted within the international human rights framework as a whole, and in order to carry out or implement the national plans at the lowest level in the country.
Podivai National EMTV News.
The Destination Igam project was launched yesterday in Leh. The project aims to build homes for retired Defence Force officers. Minister for Lands and Physical Planning and Leh MP John Rosso assured the people of Morbe that the project will benefit both the PNG Defence Force and the general public.
Retired officers of the PNG Defence Force in Leh can now invest in buying houses built by Toya Homes Limited. These houses will be funded by the Comrade Trustee Services Limited. The project will take up areas within Igam to Tent City. Apart from PNGDF personnel, the general public can purchase the houses. The project aims to bring basic services such as hospitals, schools and roads to people living in areas of Bumayong and Tent City. Member for Leh and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning John Rosso and his team are assisting with planning of the project.
We've already budgeted for it, and like I always do, I am not confined by electoral boundaries. People are people, they deserve development.
Mr. Rosso also emphasized on the cost and the income of the project.
GDP growth in the whole economy, about 1.5 billion.
Commander for PNG Defence Force, Major General Gilbert Toropo, was also there to officiate the launching of the project. Major General Gilbert Toropo added that this project will help retired soldiers to invest in properties. It will also help people who are not part of the PNGDF and are not members of the Comrade Trustees Services Limited. Philia Pisap, National EMTV News, Leh.
Papua New Guinean business leader Michael Penrose has been announced as the new CEO of the Paradise Group of Companies. Penrose will commence as CEO on the 3rd of January 2022, taking over from interim CEO Ben Wong, who will revert to his substantive role as Chief Financial Officer. Penrose is an experienced CEO in the FMCG sector with over 28 years of experience in PNG, Fiji and New Zealand. He becomes the first Papua New Guinean CEO of the 90-year-old company and PNG's oldest food manufacturing business. Jacks of PNG shops across the country will now have 5 new local designs showcased and selling on their shelves after the signature collections were launched yesterday. The 5 designs have been selected out of 330 entrants in the 2020 Design PNG competition.
Jacks of PNG yesterday launched 5 new signature collections from their 2020 Design PNG competition.
So last year we launched the design competition, even though we've had some designers in the past. Last year we launched that, about 300 odd applicants came through, and out of that 5 was chosen. And I'm actually wearing one of those designers from Harrison. So it was a great pleasure to actually finally put all those designs into production, obviously.
The 5 chosen designs come from all male applicants: Max Taliam, Pokiap Nalo, Lafos Mand, Niadian and Arisen Cool. One of the designers, Pokiap Nalo from Manus, said he took inspiration from culture and tradition in his designs.
Traditionally, can bring picture how land or place live when something is a kaikai. Actually, I'm designer Nambi side.
Pokiap says this Design PNG competition platform has given him the opportunity to expose his talent.
It's like first time come out people youths plus stop height underneath. So it's like an initiative come up and bring me come outside light.
In terms of royalty arrangements, Jacks of PNG advises that a fair arrangement has been made with the designers, which is linked to the sales value of the items manufactured. Jacks of PNG first arrived in 2015 as Jacks of Fiji and later changed the name to Jacks of PNG. With the name change came the idea of promoting local designs. The 5 new local signature collections are now conceptualized and manufactured by Jacks of PNG team.
There's a long-winded process that goes through. Once the design's done, it's to be put on fabric. The nuances of production goes in. And today, we've got all 5 designers, and you'll see around the shops that are displayed here. So I think it's a great moment to finally put PNG designs onto our shelves. And hopefully the dream is that one day we can export our designs back into Fiji rather than the other way around, or any other part of the world. So congratulations to all the 5 winners, and hopefully we'll get some more next year. Thank you.
The Design PNG competition is set to return next year. Kilawani, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues with more stories after these short messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. After 38 years of being the only high school in Kandep electorate, it is now a secondary school. Kandep High School was officially given the secondary status by the Education Department. The occasion this week was witnessed by the local MP Don Polye and Enga provincial government.
It is a long time coming for Kandep High School to be upgraded to secondary, as it was the only high school in the electorate. It has enough facilities and teachers, but lacks support from the political level in the province and the district. Added to that, the tribal fights and election-related disputes disrupted the process.
Make him number 4, put him too much pressure, director of me, Make him get something go school, he go personal grade 10. He sit on the graduate.
After close monitoring by the Enga provincial government, Kandep DDA and the education department concerning tribal fights and leadership stability, all parties agreed to work together to accord the secondary status, support the school financially and help improve quality and standard.
It's another thing, having numbers. What we also be working towards is quality.
Local MP Don Pollier, who has been in office for 7 months only after winning his election petition, said he is ready to put aside political differences and work with the provincial government to achieve quality education and standard in the district. He has already given 5 million kina from his DSIP to Kandep High School to buy resource books for the grades 11 who will start next year and for the running of the school.
Without your supporter, without your partnership, without you step on the minute, work together amicably, and the heart of me making work when we make him today. And we need him discipline, and we must give him discipline. Praise, not thank you, long him.
The school has a student population of 400. The school principal said it is a problem school due to tribal fighting, but this has stopped in the last 3 years. Since the school has been upgraded to secondary level, they will still need more dormitories, classrooms and teachers' houses, and its TFF funding must always come on time.
People have been league money, 19 direct time, 22,000, 19,000, level 7 school with over 500 Sumatin. This is like 19,000, one term or quarter, and by in and up long run in this school.
Meanwhile, there is still need to build more high schools to improve capacity to become feeder schools to Kandep Secondary. The Education Department called on the local MP and the provincial government to build new high schools and improve the academic standards and performances.
How time you grade 11 and 12 big responsibility that we want to educate our own future generation.
Provincial Director Education Rawantina was, however, praised the academic standards in the province, saying Enga always performs well academically. He said their top grade 10 students are always selected to national high schools in the country.
National high schools, we play a lot of stuff back. Look, Kandep so that all the average go up now.
Meanwhile, EPG and Kandep DDA have already selected 2 primary schools in Kandep to be upgraded to high school level soon. Surunki High School has also been upgraded to secondary level this week. Vasanatha Yama, National EMTV News, Wabek.
About 30 youths, including school children, took the initiative to do 2 days of cleanup within the Kiunga town in Western Province. In recent weeks, the town has been inundated with debris in the streets while authorities and citizens looked on. With limited equipment used in the cleanup, the town's youth and residents made a stand to volunteer on Tuesday and Wednesday to get rid of the rubbish.
Residents of Kiunga town in Western Province have been advised not to litter in town. This was the key message delivered by concerned youth during a 2-day cleanathon in Kiunga. A mass cleanup started on Tuesday and ended on Wednesday as an initiative organized by youth who believe that maintaining hygiene practices is important to avoid health risks. Wendy Lau, a youth who took part in cleaning, says people have an attitude problem of littering and need to change.
People have attitude problem. So it's time that we need to change now our mindset. We cannot stay like this for so long. Once you change my mindset, we will grow. So it's been quite long that like now you can look plenty of rubbish. So we have to work together as a community, keeping province or place look clean and healthy so that we don't see one plastic.
Local student and youth Raylin Wamo, who participated in the 2 days cleanathon, encouraged more youth to get involved in community service work.
I'm a student. For yesterday and today I took the initiative to clean Kiunga town with some of my friends. some parents and some other students who are just staying at their homes. We have nothing to do, so we took this initiative and took our time to clean this town. This town is where we live, and this is where we grow up and where we eat and move around. And when we see rubbish, it's not good, so we thought it's good cleaning our own town where we live, so we took the initiative to clean this town. My challenge to other students is that we are kids, we are energetic, we are young, and we have the strength. So when we move around in town, we must clean the rubbish and keep our town clean and healthy.
Financial constraints have been the major challenge for town authorities and cleaners over the removal of rubbish. Town cleaner Derek Wow says it is a concern for the cleaners, as town authorities should have proper plans put in place to cater for the littering problem.
The concern is that we, the town authority levels, we want to have a same security force that we will have securities standing on the street to monitor people, make sure people don't throw my rubbish. And that's our concern. That's what we always talk about.
While the months of piled up rubbish have been removed, the youths have urged the general public to be mindful of littering and take responsibility over their actions. Jamie Harrow, National EMTV News. And now looking at the NASFund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 $0.3833 Australian dollars, $0.2368 euro, and 30.96 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and copra closed higher, and cocoa closed lower. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues with more stories after these short messages. Welcome back to the news. The Institute of Christian Academy held its 17th preschool graduation ceremony yesterday. In his keynote address, school administrator Pastor David Harau emphasized on the importance of the welfare of early childhood education. Parents in attendance of the graduation were told to invest in their children's future ambitions starting at an early age.
We have to present the certificate, original certificate.
It is that time of the year again. Preschool students from the Institute of Christian Academy walked up happily to receive their certificates. If you ask any teacher, they will say early childhood education is hard work but very rewarding, according to Institute of Christian Academy School Administrator Pastor David Harau. Harau said one way of building a child at an early age is through a holistic approach.
Bible also says that if we can train kids at an early age, they will get established, meaning that we'll put in the focus to what they like to achieve, because the Word of God has established them. And so the approach I believe as a pastor that is the way forward.
During the 17th preschool graduation ceremony, parents were reminded to invest in their children's upbringing as the future is paramount.
And what they like to see the kids to come to achieve in life, that must be the focus. And also in engaging them, they have to put them in the right place, so that everything that is emphasized in terms of quality and build up can be imparted, built into their lives.
As a Christian institute, the school believes in producing a balanced education curriculum that helps develop the young to make a difference with Christian values and principles imparted.
If we want to change this nation, it's only by imparting godly principles in the lives of our children. I believe we can change this nation
That's why we are doing what we are doing, starting from the smallest child at the age of 4 or 5, giving them the word of God, so that when they become old, they will not depart from it, that they will stand on the truth, righteousness, and be able to change PNG to become a better, prosperous, successful nation.
Podivai National EMTV News.
And turning over to the region, an exclusive look at how New Zealand's peacekeeping mission in the Solomon Islands. The New Zealand Defence Force and police personnel are operating amid political tensions that have escalated into looting and rioting.
Hitting the ground in Honiara, around 70 Kiwi Defence Force and police helping keep the peace. It's a delicate balance in a tense situation.
Use minimal manpower to avoid intimidating locals. Yet just remain courteous. Okay, hearts and minds, we'll use as minimal force to de-escalate the situation. If it turns physical, the army will ensure we're armoured up and we'll take a more intimidating posture.
The soldiers are armed, wearing heavy body armour, challenging in humid 30-degree heat.
It's quite an austere environment, dealing with the wet season and the mugginess of the environment that we're operating under.
And that's not the only heat they face. This was a scene a fortnight ago, rioting and looting with 3 killed and $98 million worth of damage. Ongoing political tension led to Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare asking for international help.
I want to thank the participating countries, intervention forces who are on the ground, Mr. Speaker, to help return normalcy in our country.
He's survived a vote of no confidence, but there's simmering anger. Many from the island of Malaita say he's ignored their province and is influenced by the Chinese. It's this landscape our Defence Force is traversing. Because there's no COVID community transmission in the country, contact with locals is being kept to a minimum for now.
Once we've gone through the testing regime and we're cleared by the officials, we look forward to getting out into the community a bit more, kicking a football round, a few high fives, and doing what New Zealanders do really well in operations.
We are culturally sensitive and empathetic, and we see our role in the Pacific, I do as a Defence Force leader, as being one of partnership. And for the most part, our people go along there with that in mind, so therefore they are very good friends and they can be really effective there.
That partnership in action with police already on the ground. Community engagement is an important part of New Zealand's strategy.
You help us, we help you, and you feel free for you to come out. Where are you from? West side.
For the most part, the peacekeepers are being seen as necessary.
People feel much safer after last week's looting and everything.
Feel safe and me feel happy too.
Our Defence Force keen not to outstay their welcome. They're not expected back before Christmas, but the situation is being continually assessed.
Europe's COVID cases are surging again, so is the migrant crisis, and just how bad the economy will get is unclear.
Germany's first day in a new era, it suffered its highest death toll, nearly 600, in Europe's fierce fourth COVID wave. After 16 years, Germany can no longer turn to the steady hand of Angela Merkel, who's handed the reins of Europe's economic powerhouse to her former finance minister Olaf Scholz. Last week, a full military send-off. Her choice of music, a 1970s punk song.
The 16 years as Federal Chancellor were eventful and often very challenging years.
Elected in 2005, she was soon wrestling the global financial crisis, spending lots of German taxpayer cash and political capital to save the euro. With new credentials as Europe's crisis manager, she again put politics aside in 2015, opening Germany's borders to more than 1 million Syrian refugees, angering many, fueling fury from the far right. Her initial handling of the COVID pandemic won praise, though. Germany's death toll lower than other nearby nations.
If you had to choose one word to describe Angela Merkel's long reign, it would have to be stability. But critics say she was not radical nor exciting and lacked vision.
I think something that people might not know as much internationally is that the climate record of her governments is actually rather poor.
He says the Chancellor, who trained as a scientist, surrendered to coals and cars. She was often more popular outside Germany than in, but the nation will miss its Mutti, or mother as she was known.
Germany, loses a very important person in German politics.
No, it's time for change. 16 years, it's too long for one person in the leadership.
Always very cool and calm. Just before handing over to a complex coalition, Merkel U-turned on mandatory vaccines, offering her support, a controversial measure Germany may need soon to stem the tide.
You're watching National EMTV News. Chukai Sports is next. All the details after the break.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The Tauranga Wolfpacks debut this season in the Moresby South Rugby Football League and have made it to the grand final. They will be facing the 6 Mile Crows, a new team in the competition as well.
The Moresby South Rugby Football League is set for the senior men's grand final this Sunday, with the Tauranga Wolfpack ready for action against the 6 Mile Crows. The Wolfpack and the Crows are 2 new teams in the competition, and in their debut season have made it all the way to the grand final. The Wolfpack from Tauranga in the Moresby South electorate are grateful for their participation in the Moresby South Rugby Football League.
We started off humbly from some little funds raised from the community like Wilbur Push. We never thought that we would come this far because it was a new team. And the basic idea of forming the team was to keep the boys away from illegal activities, promoting them for a better life to the pathway of a rugby league in Moresby South. Tried our bid this year. They accepted us. Thank you to the MSRL, Moresby South Rugby League, for allowing us to participate in the year 2021, Bagelo and the boys, Brown, the chairman. And thanks for the minister for providing this amazing facility for us to play.
Wolfpack coach Baron Kangi says the team adopted their name from a former Super League team based out of Canada.
Our name is adopted from Toronto Wolfpack, the former Super League team, in our logo, and the name Tauranga Wolfpack from Toronto Wolfpack.
The team represents the suburb of Tauranga in the nation's capital and have been a formidable force in the competition.
Foodland, all the way to the beach along the Tauranga Road. So anyone who lives along this along the road is eligible to play in Tauranga Wolfpack.
The grand final is set to kick off on Sunday at 2 p.m. at the Moresby South Stadium. Despite no spectators allowed during the grand final, the Wolfpack are certain their families are proud of their achievement.
The boys have been training together as a team. So the last 2 weeks preparation was very good leading up to the semi-finals. So the boys are just here to play. We know that our community in Tauranga are very proud of us. They will support us in the grand final, but unfortunately due to the COVID-19, our family won't make it to this year. But our boys are switched on to the game and ready to play this.
Fidelis Sukina, Chukai Sports.
7 bouts are listed for the 19th of December 2021 for the Legends X-Christmas Clash. The Oceania Fight Promotions is going out with a bang with a showcase of boxing before the festive season. A contract signing today confirming the participation of the boxers.
The festive season is fast approaching, and while many are winding down, for these eager boxers, a stir of optimism. The Oceania Fight Promotions are putting on another fight night. Today, the stars of the showdown signed their contracts with the promoter.
Before me is the legal binding contract that spells out our terms and conditions by OAP have set for each participating boxer. This is the official agreement that confirms the boxer's weight, the category, the number of rounds to fight, the name of the opponent, and most importantly, the bets or the prize money.
The main event is set with PNG Pro boxing prodigy Junior Kaukoraka taking on Joe Kara in a 3 minutes each 8-round bout in the 61 kg super light heavyweight category.
Boxing community, our friends, our families. OFP is setting up another event before this year concludes. We have eight bouts to present. You have to put all your effort and skills to make sure that you produce a champion.
The showpiece event is a continuation of the revival of pro boxing in Papua New Guinea, with an emphasis to keep boxers busy and also employed through pro boxing, and to one day have a professional boxing champion from Papua New Guinea crowned with an international title. It's certain to be entertaining, and patron of Oceania Fight Promotions, boxing enthusiast Ben Micah is hoping for a good hit out come next week Sunday.
Congratulations, boxers who have been selected to fight in this event. Many of you have been fighting under the Oceania Fight Promotions for the last 2 years. So those of you who are fighting in the next event, I know that you will give your best, and the result of your training will be reflected in the quality of the fights that I believe will be displayed in the coming event.
It will not be the same without PNG pro boxing legend and avid promoter of Oceania Fight Promotions, the late Martin Benny, who passed on last month, but his legacy remains.
Our boxing legend and sporting icon, the late Martin Benny, who is also was the promoter for Oceania Fight Promotions since the rebirth of professional boxing some 3 years ago. His absence is very much conspicuous in this press conference, and I'm sure in the boxing fraternity he would be greatly missed.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details coming up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Moniplus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Partly cloudy with chances of brief patchy showers in Port Moresby, Daru, Kerema and Popondetta, and some showers and thunderstorms in Alatau. In the Momasa region, partly cloudy periods with chances of patchy rain showers in Lae, Medang, Wewak and Whanimore. In the New Guinea Islands region, cloudy periods with some showers and possible thunderstorms in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kimbe and Buka, and mostly cloudy with a few showers in Kokopo and Rabaul. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with some showers right across the region in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg. Forecast for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Daru and Yule Island to Hood Point and Samaria Islands, seas of 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Samaria Islands to Cape Vogel and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, seas of 2 to 3.5 meters. Waters of Cape Vogel through Huon Gulf and to Vitia Straits, seas of 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters of Vitia Strait to Wewak, and with waters of West New Britain, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Wewak to Whanimore and northern PNG Indonesian border, including Manus and its western group of islands, seas of 2 to 3 meters. And waters of New Ireland, East New Britain and to Bougainville, seas of 2 to 3 meters. A look at the ocean forecast. The PNG areas in the Coral Sea. Seas slight with southeast to northwesterly winds at 5 to 10 knots, tending southwest. In the Solomon Seas, seas slight to moderate with west to northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas slight to moderate, becoming rough over western end with west to northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots, increasing to 34 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas moderate to rather rough with west to northwest winds at 15 to 20 knots, with gusts reaching up to 25 to 34 knots over western sector.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for Friday, 10th December 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing, be safe and good night.